Hopefully we'll be live soon. Okay, we are live. Awesome. All right. Hello, Seaside Shadows followers, and welcome to Mystical Monday. I was just putting everything together and realized this is our 15th Mystical Monday. So that's pretty crazy to think about. But we are so excited to be here with you tonight. It is me, Courtney. Of course, Marty is return as a fan favorite for all his side jokes that he likes to make in the background. And of course, the beautiful Miss Sunshine is with us. And we're really excited to chat with you guys tonight, tell you how much we've really enjoyed our recent segments. We've had some really big ones over the past month. Really big ones. So we're going to be chatting with you guys tonight about our Witchy Wednesday, about Beltane, and our Beltane celebrations took place just about a week and a half ago. We're also going to be chatting with you a bit about our time at the site of the Hartford Circus Fire, where we went for Cemetery Saturday, and also our very spooky story that Sunshine's still scared about the Melon Heads in the woods of Connecticut. So if you have any questions about any of those, be sure to send them our way. We also will answer any questions that you may have in general about what's going on at Seaside Shadows, our tours in Mystic, any upcoming events. We did go live a little bit earlier on Facebook this morning from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Yes, we were live there, and now we're back in Connecticut. We move quickly, but we'll chat with you too about what's going on out there and coming up. So make sure you send us any questions about that too, and we'll try to keep an eye on the chat as we're going so that we can answer anything that comes up. I'm going to try to open it up on my second screen and be a little bit
good luck.
Yeah, I'm going to try. I'm not the most technologically savvy, but we will do our best. But I want to start with talking about Beltane. And the reason I want to start with talking about Beltane is because it was our first segment in the series, and it was a pretty big deal. Beltane is a favorite of many people as far as pagan and celebrations go. And we did a lot, and we actually did have some questions come in on YouTube and Facebook over the past couple of weeks about the Beltane celebration. So I definitely want to chat about that. Now, one of the things that we did was plant our wish boxes. And Sunshine, you said yours is already growing, right?
Yes, I was surprised because honestly, I forgot about it because I was so tired that night. I left it in the car for 2 days. And then I put it out with everything else I planted last week, 2 weeks ago. And it's sprouting to sunflowers already. So I feel really happy. And also, I might add that the things that I wished for are actually coming true.
Yes, the power of the fairies and the goddesses are watching out for us. I have kind of ignored mine too, but luckily Mother Nature has been helping me out while I've been busy and making sure that it's growing. And of course, for those of you that were watching, you know, our wish boxes on Beltane is to manifest the new energy and fertility of the season of spring. And when we do that, we're writing down our wishes, we're putting in a symbol of our wishes, and we were putting in some very symbolic things such as rose petals to help nurture them in the soil and to grow. And we're growing specifically poppy flowers and also sunflowers. So those are quite beautiful, but there's also this manifestation for your wishes to grow to the sky. And we said that kind of as we were going over it. But one of the great questions that came in about the plant boxes on YouTube was, can you do this in a jar, almost like a spell? Which I thought was a really good question. We kind of talked about how, you know, the most original form of the wish boxes is to plant them directly into the earth.
Right.
You know, in a cardboard box or a shoe box or what have you. And if you have any garden space or space out in your yard, that's really, you know, such an organic and natural way to just go directly into the earth itself. But how handy it is if you live in an apartment or in the city, you can also do it in these kind of, you know, get a little terracotta pot or whatever it may be. And you can also plant it that way, but we recommend shorter sunflowers for that, of course.
Right.
Yeah, if you want the big ones, you're going to put them in the ground. As far as a jar, we do a lot with mason jars. I'm a huge fan. They're all over the house, right, Marty? Don't
They
you
are.
love how many mason jars are in the house?
I move them all the time.
Mason jars filled with all sorts of spells and wonderful herbal healings. But as far as plants go, as much as we can use them for a variety of ways to manifest, for the particular Beltane plant boxes, we would probably suggest against it because your flowers need something with which to take root, and flowers such as sunflowers aren't just going to have enough space, and you want your wish to grow as big and as powerful as possible. So we would say steer away from jars, but for planting, but use it to gather some full moon water. You can even gather new moon water or any other sorts of things that are great for jars. And you can even put in a few symbolic things that you want to put. If you have an altar that you go to, that's kind of your sacred spot with your candles, symbols, gods and goddesses, anything that you go to really get centered. This is a great place to put a jar with any symbols of anything you're trying to manifest, which is similar but slightly different. What do you think, Sunshine? Any ideas for a jar Beltane wish?
Well, the first thing is that anything in a mason jar, if you're going to be growing your wishes, you certainly don't want to cap it, right? You don't want to put a cap on it at all. So you don't want to steal it is my issue.
Right.
And as far as whether it's glass or terracotta, it would just have to be a big enough container to hold it. But you want to think about something durable and something more earthbound, because basically, if you're doing it in your apartment in the city, you want it to be as close to nature as it can possibly be. And a jar just kind of doesn't really do it, you know?
Right.
So you want to do something that resembles the earth, or is like the terracotta pot is perfect because it's made of the earth. We did ours in little decorative silver little buckets, but we both have them outside on our decks outside. And so they can grow as tall as they want. So that's kind of the point, is if you use something glass, not only that, for a spell of this sort anyway, you also wouldn't want your cat to knock it over and break it. You know, it just doesn't seem durable enough to me. So I think if it's anything like, you know, a wooden planter, anything that's going to resemble nature, a lot more would be, I think, a better choice. But if you have nothing else at all to use, I would use that, but don't put a lid, because you want your plants to grow.
And that's a very good point about too with Mother Nature. I mean, the whole symbolism of Beltane is this celebration of light after the season of dark, and all of the pagan, you know, circle of wheel, you know, the turning of the wheel throughout the year is all nature based. This is all based on changing of the seasons, sun versus moon, you know, and all these different parts that we're honoring. And it's very organic. And I think a lot of people feel there's complications in a lot of these early spiritual beliefs, but it's really actually very simple, and it's based on nature cycles. So it's a really good opportunity to become one with Mother Nature in this particular practice. So
I also think, Courtney, I also think that like you did it with your feet, you know, on the ground. So it was very grounding for you. And I, you know, note you did barefoot. I did not do barefoot, but I could have, but I didn't.
It was a little cold too. So
but I think that it's important to celebrate our holidays throughout the wheel, because I feel like it kind of resets our heartbeat in sync with Mother Earth, so that we can actually go with the flow a lot better instead of being like battered around by the winds. You can steer your destiny just a tiny bit on those particular days a little better because of the placement of the earth, right?
Right,
So
right.
I think the timing is perfect. Each holiday for what we celebrate and what we do, because it really sort of follows the whole idea of planting, harvest, planting, growing, harvest, rest time, and renewal. And
Yes.
that's just what's so beautiful about it, is that there's something you can do each time. But I feel like it resets us to, I guess it's called the circadian rhythm, which is when you're in tune with nature, like just
Yes.
perfectly. Just
Yes.
everything works out great because you're not fighting it. And I think
Yes.
it's important to use those intentions throughout the year to steer your little sailship,
Yes. And I do also want to point out, Sunshine almost did some tricks for you at the Beltane fire pit. She had her broom ready. She was ready to do some broom jumping over the fire pit. We were talking about some of the really, witchy ways in one would celebrate Beltane, and the frolicking that would take place. But after much discussion and opinions from Marty, who thought that maybe if we went all out, jumping over fire, minimal clothing, people would not like that part as much. So we kept it toned down, right, Sunshine?
Yeah, I jumped out off camera, right? Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, but
year.
Sunshine almost jumped the fire on her broom, but we might save that for a special segment in the future.
Watch me as I catch all my hair on fire and myself. But I think, I looked at a lot of the Beltane fire festivals that happen in Scotland, and I was like, ooh, it's all very naughty. Ooh, And if we had done something like that at your fire pit at your yard, I think your neighbors would have talked a little bit about you and maybe wondered a little what was going on. It already they probably did, but that would have been good.
I'm sure there would have been some opinions about that.
Yeah.
Now there
but
also was
exciting, right?
Yeah,
You know a little bit about them, don't you?
Oh yeah, our neighbors probably would have been not the folks that you would be expecting to see people running around over fire in the yard. But I do also want to mention that there was another comment about the second half of the Beltane segment, because this was actually a really big one. We also did some baking bread. Now, I have made Beltane bread before this, and it's been delightful and lovely, and I've brought it to all the neighbors who they like the Beltane bread part probably more than they would have liked the fire jumping and the naughty dancing.
You never know.
But the Beltane bread with the dried strawberries as kind of an offering for the fae, similar to leaving flowers on your doorsteps. That's something that we also made on camera, and we got a lovely comment from someone named Tammy who used our recipe and also made the Beltane bread, and she confessed that she did love doing it. She didn't feel it was as good looking as ours, but she did have the same mistake as us, the baking soda. Yes. And so we sprinkled ours on at the end, which wasn't the best decision. It gave it a very salty taste, as opposed to the sweet taste it's supposed to have with the golden syrup. But Tammy said she forgot hers too, so it didn't rise as much, but she did use whole strawberries, which she said gave it a different texture than the dried strawberries. So if you made Beltane bread, or you're thinking of making any sort of festival bread, definitely let us know how it goes and share your hints. Tammy also left some good comments on the page about where you can get some of the ingredients like the golden syrup, at certain grocery stores. We actually found ours at the local Stop and Shop. But other ones don't carry it. And dried strawberries, I'll give the hint, is always in the organic food section. There's a lovely bag of them there that I like to use. But Tammy left some hints as well, so make sure to let us know if you've endeavored to make the bread or the plants and how that's going. But that was really fun, the Beltane Festival celebrations, and it was a really beautiful day for Beltane this year, and hopefully you guys had a really great day and a reset for everything that's to come. Now, moving forward, Hartford Circus Fire, that was a crazy day, wasn't it?
It was really crazy. I didn't actually expect it to be as crazy as it was. I didn't.
Yeah, and we're
It
already
took
kind of
us-
making plans to go back.
yeah, I mean, I don't think they're done talking to us about it, to be honest. It seems like there's more to say about it. But it was really something that took a couple of days to process as a medium, as you know,
Yeah,
because we had so many strange things happen. And then I did have a creepy clown follow me home who may not have died there. However, I believe he was a spirit who was involved in it. And that was unexpected for me.
yeah. It was, there was an intensity to the experiences
Mhm.
there. I have to say, upon arrival, there were two things that were really telling me that we were in the right place at the right time. One
Marty's
of
gone.
them, the dog wants to enter Buddy
Oh,
into
puppy,
the scene. He missed us. He
buddy.
was gone for a few days. But one thing that was happening is we arrive and Sunshine and I both are trying to connect with the energy of the place. Marty's trying to make sure the camera's in place. And all of a sudden I went to one end of where the circus tent would be and Sunshine was at the other. And
Mhm.
that man that came out of the woods and
Yes,
told us, he didn't know we were there for anything spiritual related or haunting
right.
related at all. And he just sort of appeared, and he was one of the only people that came by that day because it was, we filmed it at an odd time of day, and it's kind of hidden behind a school. But he came by and told us about people hearing screams in that area, reminiscent of the fire that took place. And I thought that was very telling that the spirits knew we were coming. But additionally, we kept having those little spurts of rain clouds that were just over very specifically the site of the Circus Fire. And
Right.
as if Mother Nature herself was trying to extinguish the flames.
That's what it really felt like because when your sound's a little low, Courtney. I don't know if you know. It's
Oh,
coming
my sound's low.
now it's better. That's good.
Okay, the
It's
keyboard must
fading.
have gotten pushed in
Yeah.
front of it.
So one thing was that when we arrived there, the air was very, very heavy. It was like a hot July day
Right.
right away. And then um, the, the storm that came over us was literally only over us,
Yes.
raining on the spot where the fire had been, where we were
Right.
standing. And that you can see that actually in the episode that it had started raining and the wind was picking up.
Right.
And the gentleman who came out of nowhere had pointed out to you where there were condos previously and that a friend of his had lived there and had paranormal experiences, right?
Right.
But what struck me was something else about that person, was that I had just finished reading
Yes.
about the circus performer who was there who had no arms and no legs and had to be rescued by someone, and someone remembered that she was
Right.
in there and ran in and got her out. And the person that showed up to talk to you had no arms and no legs and was on one of those mobility scooters
Yes.
and seemed to know an awful lot about what happened.
As soon as he manifested Sunshine, he said to me, and I thought, oh, why is this man coming out of the woods on a scooter right now, right? But
Mhm.
when he manifested, he came up to me and he said, "You're here about the Circus Fire." Like,
Right
he didn't
away.
ask me, he told me, knowing that's what I was there for. And he said, "Oh, it was a crazy time." And then he told me, he wasn't alive in 1944 when it happened, but he did know this peculiar amount about it, and there was that connection. And as we were walking through there, it was just it was pretty spooky. And I think, one of the most heartbreaking parts for me that I will never forget are the bricks that were
Yes.
inscribed by survivors or family
Yes.
members. The one that said, "Mom told us to meet her outside, but she never came." And you know, just some of these, you know, about the heroes that went in there and the people that were waiting. And it was pretty heartbreaking. The day that clowns cried, of course they called it.
Right.
And you know, in this segment you'll see Riley, who edits our work. She did a fantastic job putting in some pictures that will show you little clips of, you know, what it looks like on the scene. So we encourage you to take a look at the full segment if you haven't yet. And
Mhm.
Sunshine and I walk you through chronologically what happened in July of 1944 at Hartford, that fateful day, you know, that was almost pre-written, right, Sunshine? You were talking to me about that, and I was really, really interested in what you were telling me, that some of the people that were attending the circus
Right.
almost knew.
Right. There was actually, because I was thinking to myself, this could have been prevented if the circus had just shown up on time, or
Right.
it could have been prevented if they didn't do that show in the afternoon. But I have two stories about two different women who experienced some paranormal or premonitionary aspects to this energy before the fire ever happened.
Right.
One woman was walking into the tent with her children and she fell down and her legs stopped working for an entire year. And of course, they went right to the hospital and her kids went with her and they were thus saved from the fire.
Wow.
Another woman had a dream that her sister was sitting in the stands of a circus, all dressed in black with a black veil and crying. And
Wow.
in fact, that sister's children died in the fire. So sometimes, oddly as it sounds, some things seem to be kind of fixed in a
Right.
time frame that maybe they can't really be prevented. I don't know, but it was certainly an experience that I did not expect to have so much feeling about at all,
Right.
or to have an impact as much as it did. But while we were there, I could sense the sadness of the people. And also, not only that, but the way that they fireproofed the tent or waterproofed the tent that caused the fire was the
Yes.
gasoline with paraffin wax. And that whole idea just was like, wow, that happened in 7 minutes, right? I mean, was it
Right.
7 or 10? I can't, it was fast.
It was fast. I think it was 7 minutes, you know,
Right.
for it to really start to consume the
But that
tent. But people were
that whole
in
idea
there.
that you're there for something fun and it's a treat, and then all of a sudden it's a horror show.
Yes.
I could feel that there. And then when we went to the monument and we did the paranormal investigation there, that was really exciting because we had a lot of different folks speaking to us about where
Right.
they had come from, what they had experienced, especially about Little Miss and some of the other unknown.
There were some really intelligent responses,
Yes.
for sure. And I encourage everyone that's interested to watch and let us know some theories. There's a lot of mysteries that still surround the Hartford Circus fire, you know, which tragically killed as many children as it did adults, if not more. But some of the mysteries include, of course, the starting of the fire. Was it arson? Was it an accident? And Sunshine and I go over that in the segment, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think. And then there's also, of course, the mystery of the identities of some of the victims, most famously the identity of Little Miss and Little Miss's reburial, which is still, you know, questioned to this day if that was correct and which little girl was she. And there's been a lot of strange things that have happened. So make sure to watch and let us know what you think is the source of some of this as well. We would love to hear any theories. And then finally, in our recent segments, we had the terrifying and ghoulish Melon Heads of
Stranded.
Southwest Connecticut. Yeah, and we told the stories of the Melon Heads that drive, you know, their blue granada that they stole from some teenagers and, that are believed to be, cannibals in the woods, inbred with one another, either descendants of a witch family or escapees of local prisons and asylums, a variety of theories, a variety of towns and roads. Marty's
Right.
suspicious. Marty, have you seen a melon head?
No.
I have not seen one. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys something. I never saw a melon head. I never want to. However, today I was near Patchogue Forest when I
Oh,
was driving, and I got really creeped out. Like I got suspicious that there might be melon heads around there somewhere.
no.
And then I
Go
was
to
like,
one of
no,
the
I think
roads?
that what?
You go over to one of the roads?
No, of course not. I'm not doing that.
She was safely
will-
in Eastern Connecticut.
Right. I will definitely meet a melon head if I go looking for one, I'm sure. However, today I had the creeps near Patchogue Forest. Is very dark and mysterious. And then I realized I thought that might be like the brownies or the puck wedgies, as you guys call them here in
Yes.
Connecticut, and not a melon head, thank God. But I would love to go with some other witnesses and try to find a melon head.
Oh, I don't know,
However-
man. I don't know. I feel like that's Planet Fire. We drove through Danbury today on our way back into Connecticut. And I looked at the side and all I could think of was melon heads, right?
Yes, and exactly, like I lived for a little while before I came to Mystic. A couple of years I lived in Fairfield County, and one of the Dracula drives I've actually been to quite a bit because I used to hike around that area, around the lake there that we speak about on the episode, and I never felt anything very creepy. However, now that I know it's a Dracula drive, I'm never going back.
Right. Yeah. No, they're creepy and there is something real about them. There's too many witnesses. I don't know, Marty, do you believe in the melon heads?
I don't know. I was just thinking about the segment, and I'm hoping it wasn't too shaky for people because I was kind of laughing watching the two of them do this.
Marty thinks mine and Sunshine's fear of the melon heads is something to laugh at, but it is.
He does. Well, I'm only scared of two cryptids, melon heads and Mothman.
Yes.
Otherwise, I can probably handle it. I met Mothman one time. We should do something about that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Mothman, that would be a good future episode. We might have to address that for sure. His home is in West Virginia, which furthers my theory that West Virginia can be a scary place, even though Marty doesn't believe me on that. But I think there's.
I don't like West. I feel creeped out in West Virginia too. Whenever I arrive there, I can't wait to leave. And nothing against you, West Virginia. It's just this feeling I have that you may have melon heads or a
There's just something
Mothman.
scary. That's where the Mothman's from. So.
Well, you know what? There's a bunch of Mothmans actually. I saw one in New Jersey, in Piscataway, New Jersey, and it was
Mothman's scary.
Really scary to me. And I literally felt like I'm not seeing this. And then I did. So yeah, we'll have to do an episode about that. I don't know where they live in Connecticut, but I would think any kind of abandoned mill or factory is usually ripe for the picking for Mothman.
I don't know if I want to know.
I'm going to say right now, Marty, if we go looking for the melon head, right, and we see one or two or three, I'm going to think that you're playing a trick on me. And I'll probably walk right up to the melon heads and they'll just eat me alive. So don't play any jokes.
We can't get out of the car though, remember, because they steal cars.
Well, what if they carjack us? That's a possibility too. They're very vicious, these melon heads.
Then we'll go in the 2000 Impala. We can have that one.
Oh no, I like that car.
No. We'll have to go. I mean, honestly, I'd like to actually ask some of the teenagers that I know in Fairfield if they've ever heard of it too, just personally.
Yeah.
because I think they might explore it. I also think one other theory I have about the Blue Granada, Courtney, Marty,
Yes.
is that some teenager in Fairfield took their parents' car and crashed it and made up a little story about how they got carjacked by Melon Heads and got all of their friends to also agree to it and forever never tell another story. That could
But
be.
how does that explain that people still see the big-headed tiny people driving it through town?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's probably just a
That's
myth people just keep saying.
No, you say that, but we're gonna go down that way and we're gonna see all this strange car.
I actually like your theory because who wants a Granada?
My theory.
Yeah, who wants a Granada?
That's a debunking theory, but it's like, But then what? They still see the Blue Granada. That could be kind of like high school kids having their imagination running away with them. But it could also be true, which is the scariest part about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with a lot of these cryptids and creatures is, I think it's our human nature that they're the first things we kind of want to dispel or, say, no way. Because it doesn't fit into our human psyche very easily. And we think, surely this is a made up fable. But then when we look, what's most fascinating, whether we're talking about melonheads, puckwudgies, Bigfoot, and any of these things, a lot of these sightings go back not just decades, but centuries.
Right.
And they go span continents. And there's all these cultures that have seen these strange things. And okay, is it just a legend that has made it this long? I don't know.
Probably not. It's probably, honestly, that's why I don't want to go look for them, because I think we'll find them and then I'll freak out.
Be careful what you wish for, right? Be careful what you wish for.
I don't.
So to anyone that didn't catch the Spooky Story Sunday, it is about Melonheads, these big-headed little people with spindly long arms and legs and red eyes and a very terrible appearance. They are very harmful. They seem to hunt humans. They live in Connecticut. And so be sure to, keep an eye out for them. And also, we just had a comment, Mavis Garcia, thank you for joining us tonight.
Hi, Mavis.
Hi, Mavis. Thank you for commenting. We hope you're having a spooky night and you didn't tune out just because of the Melon Heads, although we wouldn't blame you. They are pretty scary. But if you did miss anything, all of these episodes that we're talking about are on YouTube. They are totally free for you to watch. And Facebook, we keep them all archived here as well. If you just want little highlights, Instagram is a really good place to go for them as well. And we did just start a TikTok. We're pretty new at it. We're working on it. We want to put some investigations on it for you, but give us a follow on there if you have one. And that'll help motivate us to get some good investigations out there for you. But if you have any questions, let us know. Also, Heather says hello, Heather. I'm glad the Melonheads aren't spooking people away and out of
I can't believe it.
and out of Mystical Monday. That makes me happy. They spooked us. That was probably our shortest segment because we were like, we don't want to talk about them too long.
I mean, there's not a lot to say about them. They look like this. This is what they're going to do to you. Try to avoid it. But if you want to find them, here's where you can go.
I would have a feeling that they probably show up and notice.
Yeah, well,
Marty, stop.
We're
Scary.
out of nowhere, and
I'm convinced. I'm still convinced, and Marty makes fun of me till this day. Mavis says I've never heard of Melonheads.
Oh
Mavis,
God, it's a Connecticut.
Watch our segment on Melonheads, and it might not help you sleep at night though. So don't.
Well, then, yeah.
You'll get these terrible cannibalistic little creatures that live in the woods of Western Connecticut. You don't want to know them. But don't watch it before you go to bed. Don't watch it, during the day. Maybe you'll feel a little bit better. But I always tell Marty, I kind of had this nightmare and it happened. And I told Sunshine this too. I watched this episode of missing 411, or it's a documentary about missing
Uh-huh.
people, like hunters and things that go missing in the parks. And they kind of came up with the theory that it was a Bigfoot could be responsible for some of these missing people. Okay, fine, you know, I can make peace with a Bigfoot, right? But like, why is he taking people and potentially eating them? You know, I don't love that theory. So
Oh, Can
we live in a one-story house, and after I watched that documentary, I said, I'm so afraid to go to bed, and then I'm gonna wake up and see Bigfoot's face in the window. And I was expecting
scary.
my husband Marty to come up with some sort of reassurance, to which
Frankie.
he says, don't worry, it's a one-story house. The head would be above the window.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
Heather says she drives through the areas where the Melon Heads reside often. So she's
did you ever see one? Did you
she
ever
says
see one,
she
Heather?
hadn't heard of them before. So Heather, keep an eye out and get back to us if you
Careful. Look
meet
out for
one.
blue granadas. Look out for the blue
Yes.
granada.
Yes, be careful. Also,
Right.
this lovely feline has joined the segment. That is Love Bug.
Oh,
He hates when we go out of town, and we were out of town for 4 days. He did have a very
yeah.
loving pet sitter, but you wouldn't know it by his
Oh, he's hugging his dad. Tell us about what
He was
your
trying to come
adventures were together in Gettysburg.
Yes. So we just got back from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, one of the most haunted places in America, according to many. And we had a fascinating experience there. We were working with the Spirit Realm Network, taping some live investigations, which we encourage everyone, if you love the paranormal, those are archived on the Spirit Realm Network to go and watch. We were standing in the haunted wheat field last night, and Sunshine, we caught sounds of cannons on camera.
Oh my gosh.
Cannons in the dark and gunshots.
Amazing.
Yes. And there were some full-bodied apparitions that we sighted. It was a very creepy adventure. We spent a few days going there, going through the battlefields, telling folks what each area was and the hauntings of it. And Spirit Realm Network, did this amazing live feed. And we're going to be working again with them later on this year and doing a very similar thing up in Salem. We're hitting these really great haunted hot spots, but this was a really great chance for me to really get involved in Gettysburg and with the spirits, get them familiar, because I will be back there next month talking about battlefield ghosts in more depth, so I won't give it all away here. So there's the Phenomenology Conference in the first week of June in Gettysburg, but also we'll be doing a tour in September of Gettysburg and nearby battlefields. So you'll want to check that out on Mysterious Adventures Tours, and book that. We're going to be going and investigating and having a grand time. So make sure you check that out. And if you are interested in these battlefield spirits, Gettysburg alone had 50,000 casualties. A lot of these places had, 25 to 30,000 casualties. So the spirit energy there is immense. Some say there's almost a vortex there, or a portal. A lot of the mediums that were working with Spirit Realm this weekend said they felt a vortex in certain parts of the battlefield that was just so swarmed with energy. It was almost unbelievable. And a lot of the spirits there manifest so clearly, people think they're alive.
That's what I've heard. I visited Gettysburg a number of times as a child with my father and my mother, and I saw ghosts there, of course, as a child. But it seemed to me as if it was very crowded with ghosts. It seemed like there were more ghosts than alive people.
Living people. And Heather just sent a great question. She says she will be keeping an eye out for Melon Heads.
Oh my God.
She said she's never gotten to actually investigate. Do we bring people along for investigations?
For Melon Heads?
No, just for ghosts. I think this is referring to Gettysburg. So when we go to Gettysburg in September, we are going to be doing some paranormal investigations with the folks that are on that tour. We're going to bring our devices, our EMF detectors, our SB7 spirit box, our audio recorders. We're going to bring our thermal camera, all sorts of things so that we can help show you how we use the tools and you can be a part of speaking with the ghosts. And we also do some in Mystic every year. And we investigate cemeteries for the public that we do usually around Halloween weekend. Similarly, we bring all our equipment. We usually do haunted sites at least once annually at a historic museum in Connecticut. So if you follow us on here, Heather, and anyone else interested, we do several paranormal investigations on a variety of tours and events, and we'll bring you all the gizmos and gadgets so you too can talk to the ghosts.
You can try them out, right?
Yes.
I mean, I love the SB7 spirit box. It's really good.
Yes, and they were really into it. I think the most active spot at Gettysburg that we did was this place called Sachs Covered Bridge for the spirit box. They were all
I watched
active,
some of that. That was really good.
but they liked that
Yeah.
there. And there's, rumored to be 3 Confederate soldiers who were executed there, perhaps for treason. And I think, they seemed to be talking quite a bit there about being stuck. And Heather did visit us in Mystic. She did her bachelorette in September.
Come on, more tours.
Yes, come back and see us and we'll investigate with you next time.
You'll love it. And don't forget Ireland. Talk about Ireland.
Oh, yes. Ireland is coming up in April of 2022, so just under a year away. And you can reserve a spot, I believe, for as little as $100 right now, just to reserve your spot there. And it's going to be 9 days. We were actually just researching a bit about a banshee in one of the castles we're going to be visiting.
Oh, I love banshees.
Yes, she's redheaded like me. So, I love the banshee. But we are also doing an investigation on an island on the Irish trip that's known as Ireland's Alcatraz. And there is a prison on that island. And we're going to be spending the night there overnight.
Oh my gosh.
In the old prison and investigating it. That's called Spike Island. So that's definitely something to look forward to. So we're going to do all the pretty and all
Marty
the
ready for that, Courtney?
I'm ready. It's the IRA.
Is Marty ready?
And,
is Marty ready?
Oh, I am.
Are you ready to sleep over at the Spike?
Courtney, this weekend, last night actually, we were in the field investigating, and Courtney's like, "Don't go over there. Don't go over there."
Oh,
I backed up first, and I was like, "No, I'm going over there."
There was to be clear, there was a spirit crawling on the ground because he was injured, and then I believe there was the spirit that injured him standing behind the tree. So you could see and you could hear. We recorded one of them yelling, and Marty goes, "What's behind that tree?" I said, "Don't go over to that tree. Don't do it. Don't get involved."
Did you do it, Marty? He did it, right?
He did it. Oh, he did it.
Oh, I did it.
Marty.
Yeah, and I got to the tree, and a bird came flying out at me and attacked me.
If you don't listen to the wife, Mother Nature,
Especially the medium wife that knows something's in the tree. I always say to my husband, I don't know if you do this, Courtney, but I always say, don't pay attention to the clairvoyant. I don't know anything.
Why?
Right, Marty?
I listened to myself, obviously. I wasn't going near the tree, but I didn't want anything to, happen to him. And so there was another medium there, and she was a little bit, more fearless. And I said, "Will you follow my husband to the tree? Make sure nothing happens to him, because I'm not going over there." Also, Heather says she has goosebumps and that she's going to need more info on Ireland. SeasideShadows.com. We have a kind of a button on our homepage, and it's going to say Ireland 2022 under, our tours. I believe it's on the tours page, and you're going to see the full itinerary. I have it so packed with everything you can imagine. So that full itinerary is on there with links to book, and both our specialty tours coming up are on there. And I did just find out that we're going to do Ireland 2022 and Scotland 2023.
Oh my gosh, that's great. It's going to be so much fun. Those are such exciting tours because because how can you ever kind of recreate this experience where you're going to experience the paranormal, you're going to learn the history behind it, not only just the people who died, but how they lived, how they died, and then how they still affect the areas around them. Especially, I don't know, I feel like Scotland and Ireland are still places where a lot of magic still happens, no matter what. There's a vortex there too, probably, right? You know, of
Yes,
some
and I
kind.
think, the Celtic cultures are so spiritual and so
Mhm.
rooted in the supernatural that it's a part of their everyday life, and you can feel
Yeah.
it almost. I tell people you can feel it kind of pulsing in the earth there, and
Mhm.
I just think we're just going to have such great adventures there. And here, it's all about the people, like you said, Sunshine,
Mhm.
and introducing you to the people and who they were, and walking in their footsteps, and then joining us in their spirit form. And there's nothing better than that, in my opinion.
And Courtney, in this way, these people are never really forgotten too, because one thing that I've noticed is that there's a feeling in the human spirit that's innate that we don't want to be forgotten.
right.
And when you have a spirit who died during a historic event and they're still sentient and they're still kind of here, they're more than willing to speak about it. Because could you imagine being trapped yourself for a couple hundred years or more, and you
Mhm.
don't have anyone to talk to until you meet a medium? I mean,
Right.
think about it. It's probably a big relief for them to have therapy. You ever feel like a ghost therapist,
I,
Courtney?
I do. We did this weekend, myself and one of the other mediums there helped the spirit of a teenage boy, 17 years old, who died at Gettysburg. And it was almost the entire conversation we had with the spirit was about him trying to get back to his mother, but
Mhm.
didn't want to leave his friends behind. And just, this very tragic,
Yeah.
thing that he was the baby and he was doing this to keep his mom safe. And we had to kind of almost like release him from that field
Yeah,
and
I
show
think
that
that's a good
beauty,
idea.
to never leave.
Yeah.
And that way you are kind of the ghost therapist.
Mhm.
Heather says, what other local places have you guys investigated? Well, we did
Midnight
just, of
Mary.
course, investigate the Circus Fire. Midnight Mary in New Haven, we investigated her grave. She was a little eerie. Midnight Mary was a woman buried alive in New Haven.
Yeah.
And she has manifested several times, and people have gone missing when they've looked for her. So we were playing with fire a little bit with that one, but we did investigate Midnight Mary a couple months ago in the frigid cold.
Freezing cold. I I remember the EVP that was very clear from Midnight Mary when we both had asked her if she takes the people that come to see her and disrespect her in certain ways, right?
Mhm.
That she said she takes them. And when we asked, where do you take them? She actually answered, I take them to the mausoleum. And
Yeah.
that was like, ooh, Midnight Mary's here. Like, okay.
Yes.
That was that like really brought it home. Not that I'm not a believer, but I am usually a skeptic until I really can't deny it anymore that
Yes.
it's real. And that
Yes.
was extreme. We also had a really beautiful, even though we were freezing, and Marty was the freezingest of all of us. We had a beautiful sunbeam that shined down right on her monument at
Yeah.
the time of filming, and I
And
thought
there were
that was
offerings for her all over her
yeah,
monument too. There
yeah,
were. Heather's asking Circus Fire. That was Hartford, right? Yes.
yes.
Yes, that was Hartford. That was a segment we filmed a couple weeks ago, where we walked kind of through the timeline of the Circus Fire, and that's on YouTube. And we did investigate, and that evidence is on there. We had some very incredible, intelligent responses at the site of the Hartford Circus Fire and the graves. And we had some very spooky spiritual experiences. That was a very
Mhm.
moving investigation
It really was.
altogether. We have also investigated. Heather says she knows someone related to the little girl that died in the fire.
Little Miss.
Maybe Little Miss. There were approximately 80 children that died in the fire. But Little Miss is quite popularly known, the niece of her. So maybe she could provide some clarity. Heather, you're going to have to reach out and let us know. Little Miss's identity is still a mystery. So we want to know what you know. That sounds curious, right? She's going to go watch the segment and get back to us.
All right. I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Very cool. And some of our public investigations too, we've done great things like the Guard Theater in New London, the Samuel Smith Farmstead in East Lyme. We've done the Nathan Hale Homestead in Coventry, Laughing Well House Museum in Norwich, a few times. Laughing Well House is very active. So lots of great local haunts, and we're working on one that I don't want to announce just yet. Behind the scenes, I'll give you a hint. We're thinking of going up to Vernon, Connecticut, and we were talking with our good friend Johnny Zaffis about some ideas. So yeah. So stay in touch. We're hoping to do that soon.
May or may not go along with the new book coming out.
Yes. Civil War. We were talking to you about that Civil War. My new book is about the Civil War coming out this fall, and you know, we're going to be working more along those lines. So think about that when you think of investigations.
Excited. Now, did I hear this correctly that you are going to be writing a 4th book now?
Yes. So yes, I'm so excited.
But the topic's a mystery. We're not allowed to know that yet.
No, you can. So I'll give you a hint. So the book coming out this fall that is done is Civil War Ghosts of Connecticut. It's following the stories of several Connecticut men, from the low-ranking privates all the way to high-ranking generals, and what they endured during the Civil War, the battles, the prisons, the haunted sites, and things that surround them. And I got to thinking, you know, with all of these hundreds of thousands of people on both sides to the war, there's so many more stories to tell. So I suggested that we write a book for each state that was involved, a grand endeavor to be sure, but flip-flopping between the Union and the Confederate soldiers. So since the first book is from my home state with the Union, the next book is going to be a Confederate state. I have one in mind, also based on my family roots, but I'm not going to announce it just yet because I want everyone to get excited for the Connecticut one. And actually, if you check out some of the lives we did in Gettysburg this morning, we did each live at a different monument for a different Connecticut man, kind of a teaser for what's to come in the book. So check out those lives and you'll get a few hints on some of those guys that are coming up in the next book.
You worked really hard on that, so congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm very excited. Can't wait.
Thank you. So I think we've answered all the questions. Heather sent us so many good ones, and of course we too had Mavis talking with us about the Melon Heads. Oh, and your husband has joined in. He's excited for the new book.
Hi, Jason. I'm like, don't ask anything weird.
Always welcome.
Yes.
What do you say?
Marty says Jay's commentary is always welcome.
Yes. Except when he's gonna make fun of me. Teasing me all the time.
Oh, but he's the best.
Remember, he had us both scared about something, Courtney. I don't remember what
COVID shot.
Oh, that's right. He told us we needed.
Yeah, he told me. Throw Sunshine's husband under the bus because I left in jail, but he told me my arm was gonna fall off and that I had to sign a waiver. My arm is still attached and I didn't have to sign a waiver. So I was watching him ready to sign. I was like, oh my God.
I'm like, your sense of humor is so awesome because I love him for his sense of humor, just like I love Marty's sense of humor too. But like, I'm like, you have to remember, as psychics, we're really gullible. Like, my arm's going to fall off? Really? Are you sure? You know, and so it just adds that extra layer of fear, right?
Yes.
Excitement.
My arms are both still here, everyone. So
did Jason have a question for us or not?
You know, he just says he can't wait.
Oh, good. Okay. He can't wait for all of this.
Sunshine and I have been talking, and I'll leave it at this tonight. You know, we're going out of state next month. We're going to be working on a tour that's coming up virtually a few times this year, and we're going to go up next month and get prepped for it in the Witch City. So keep an eye out for details on that. It's going to be great. But with that, I want to thank everyone that joined us tonight. If you're watching this later, not live, do not fear. You can still send us questions and we'll pop them on to the next Mystical Monday. So it will be a little bit delayed perhaps, but that is absolutely fine. I also want to encourage everyone to check out our website, seasideshadows.com. All the information on Ireland, the upcoming battlefield tours are there. We also have our online store where my previous books are for sale. And finally, we have our calendar for Mystic. We have tours going out 4 nights a week in Mystic right now. Our Elm Grove Cemetery tours are going out twice monthly in Mystic. The boat tours are coming back, and there's lots of things coming up. And in the summer, we're going to have even more tours available. So check out our calendar. Hopefully you can join us on any of the things in Connecticut virtually for the Witch City, or some of the, you know, bigger things down the East Coast and across the ocean. But there's lots of information online, and hopefully we will spook you soon. And until then, we wish you all happy haunts. Bye, everyone.
Right?
Bye. Good night.